welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be fighting another little Itch.io game. And I forgot what the name of it was. I'll pop it up on screen because I think it's Lookout something. The art style looks really cool and this is how it starts. So let's see. Also, there is a current tornado watch going on in my area and one touchdown like 20 minutes away from me. So if this video cuts for a minute, that means I lost power. And we're going to go from there and hope for the best. Hope I don't. So let's see. It says, boss. So you sure we can trust this friend of yours, Info? It'll be a crying shame if you're wrong about this. This guy is someone to ride the river with. He'd never sell me bunk information. That town has struck gold, that's what he heard. Heard? He just heard about it? What kind of source is that? We can't go off rumors, you nutcase. I feel like my theater kid is gonna come out. So I apologize. But think about it. We'll be living like English kings if we take over a supply like that. What else are we gonna do? The last job was a bust. We got nothing left. Alright. We've had some bad luck and we're running low on supplies. We'll take that town by hook or by crook. And if they don't have that gold, we can take them for what they do have and skedaddle. Lookout will go early in the morning and see what we're up against. But I reckon we can bulldoze this burg and have some fun either way. Make sure to bring us back some juicy details, won't you, tomboy? He firmly slaps you on the back. Laughter fills the campus around the roaming fire. Sounds like you'll be riding at sunup to check the town out. You feel it's best to get some sleep. Okay, so we're starting here. Dang. So we're gonna attack this town? The desert is an orange haze. Scorched sands whip up around your horse's legs. The sun hot against your back as you ride towards the town. Let's see, I love this. I love this style. I saw them on TikTok. There's not much to be done while riding. The desert is lonely, harsh, bare. Only thing to do is think. You don't like being alone with your thoughts so often for so long. But you always are alone at the lookout, alone being the odd stick of the gang. No one talks to you unless they need something. You daydream as you ride, like usual. Fly to fancy a settling down somewhere. You're tied to Curly Wolf and his gang, though. Is it so much to ask to be able to live in peace? To not have to fight for survival? Always on the run? Maybe that's what your life will always be like, gang or not. A hunted outcast. That's depressing. They could have sent you off with some playing cards at the very least. Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess. You come to an outcropping near a cliff. Tying up your horse, you approach the edge and see the town come into view. A nice frontier town, small but clearly bustling with people. White painted signs on the wooden buildings, glint and bloom in the midday sun. My Texas accent is gonna get hella thick during this. You can't see much else from up here, and you can't turn to go get your binoculars. You can't read. You open your saddlebag and pull the metal binoculars out, brushing it against your poncho to dust off the lenses. Turn it back to the walk of the edge. A figure suddenly rounds the corner of the large rock you've decided to set up camp under. Ah! At instinct, your hand snaps to your holster gun and pulls it, trained squarely at the head of the new person. The bird, who seemingly came from nowhere, looks at you, clearly just as surprised and out of sorts from your own presence. He shifts backward, eyeing your hand on his gun. The air feels very still all of a sudden, and given you have the upper hand, you take a moment to look at who you just crossed paths with. He's definitely an outlaw like yourself. A rugged beak shining in the sun centers a face you admittedly find charming. His face and arms are marked with scars, and a large, sawed-off shotgun hangs on his holster. Since he's a bird, you know to be wary. Damn, what am I? Just like you'll know to be wary of a canid like yourself. Okay. Howdy there. What's your name, partner? Joseph. And what are you doing all the way out here, Joseph? You seem a dreadful long way away from where one might think you should be. Could ask you the same question. You stare him dead in the eye. He's pretty calm for someone having a gun pointed at his head, but you can see some of his feathers quivering. Were you trying to sneak up on me, Joseph? Rob me blind where no one else could see? I bet you thought a fella missing an arm would be easy. No, sir. I had no idea you were here until I walked around this here rock. He pats the redstone behind him as if to make a point. Sir, what in the Sam Hill? You lower your gun like your shoulder joint just gave out and let it hang there. In all my years, no stranger has ever called me sir. Well, color me surprised, fella. You'd have to be blind or full as a tick to not see an upstanding young gentleman. All right. Now you're just licking my boots. The hop puts a hand to his chest. God is my witness. I ain't lying to you. You holster your gun and snort a small smile. May he strike you down as penance then. What are you doing out here? Picking flowers? The smile dropped from his face. He stops short and swallows, like he can't bear to say the next words. I'm part of the Black Vulture gang. I'm out here looking to I'm on lookout here to survey this here burg. That's very forward of you, considering I just had a gun pointed your way. I'm part of the Curly Wolf gang. I'll be damned, you boys have been all over the West. What brings you right here? Much the same as you, I would imagine. Rumors of gold. You'd have it just right. Well, I can imagine what my boss might want me to do coming across someone who's sticking their beak in our business. Joseph tenses up, feathers ruffled. He understands full well what you mean. Conflicting interests and all. Buddy is not here. Will be a real waste of a good bullet to use it on you. The small jibe is enough to make you stop talking and search for the binoculars you threw when you pulled your gun. Turning your face away to hide the blood rushing to your cheeks under your dark fur. I missed the flirting! Oh no! I was messing with my sound and I missed the flirting, and I think this is where I messed up my audio. But yes, I missed the flirting. You dust the binoculars off again and walk over to where Joseph is standing, his eyes keenly trained on the town. Don't need no binoculars then, huh? No, sir. These eyes can see all the faces of those people down there, no problem. Sir, again. Maybe it's just a habit of his to call people that. Say, why you keep calling me sir? I ain't your boss. You just that much of a polite suck-up? Cost nothing. What do you most people call you then? Ah, you thought this might come up, of course. You're surprised it took this long for him to ask about who you are. What you are. Most would say tomboy, I would think. Or others things I wouldn't repeat in such polite company. And what would you call yourself? The question takes you by surprise. Something no one's ever asked you. I'd call myself a man. Huh, is that so? He's gonna think you're a nut now, you just know it. You'd be better getting on your horse right now and riding back than staying another second round, this stranger. How funny. Guess we're in the same boat if I'm picking up what you're putting down. Might say that the guys at the camp don't use shove the queer to talk about money. That's insane. That's still wild to me. Even voicing over this is still wild. And I am tweaking out about it in the video. I'll fight every homophobic bitch. Come on. Put him up. You nod at him, unsure whether to laugh or not. Neither of you seem sure what to say now. Is it a love story? I think I saw something about it being a love story, but I wasn't sure. Instead, you hold the binoculars to the bridge of your nose and investigate the town, looking down into the valley. After a spell of looking at nothing in particular in silence, you take the binoculars away from your face again, readjusting to the late morning light. You glance at Joseph's cleanly trained eyes, then back to the town. You can't help but stare at the clump of a couple dozen or so buildings. You couldn't help but think about the real people's lives going on down there every day. Deaths and celebrations, harvests, prayers. How were you gonna hurt them? How you were gonna hurt them? How you were both gonna hurt them? Don't get it. Joseph's voice snaps you out of your staring. Why would Black Vulture want to come here? There's nothing here. No mines in use, no bank, and they sure as hell ain't rich by the looks of things. Maybe they struck a new vein. This is miner's town after all. But you're right. Something strange going on. Well, two sets of eyes are better than one, right? You want to work together? You watch my back, I'll watch yours. Deal? A huge feathered hand shoots out to you in expectation. Take it! Take it! You look at his face, and you both lock eyes for a moment. You're not sure what, but there's something in his eyes that makes you feel seen. Being looked at rather than through. Ah! He's so cute! Little one-armed boy! I love him! Wait, I love this. You gently grab his hand, and a second wind hand claps on and gives your whole arm a big shake. Ah, he's so cute. Whoa, careful there. Don't need to lose another. Yeah, I already got one arm, bro. Don't do that to me. He lets go and puts his hands on his hips, smiling at you. Hey, come on now. Let's get on down there. He walks past you and heads towards a winding rocky path down the side of the valley drift. Take a moment to look at the town again, walking along the cliff edge to catch up with Joseph, wondering if he could see how red your face had been under your black fur. Ah, they're gay. They're gay and in love. I love it. Clambering down the cliff face, the shade of the valley is a welcome change after your long ride in the sun. The climb down is quiet. Only a few grunts and gripes, a couple voices of concern from Joseph you quickly waved off. You both approach a wooden sign you spotted a little ways off, swaying in the desert wind. You both approach a wooden sign you spotted a little ways off, swaying in the desert wind. It looked relatively new, a board hanging on 2 chains, a word carved into the wood. Can you read it? It was only a single word, but you couldn't piece it together quite how to say it. No. Bitch said I can't read. That's a gay stereotype. But also, it's true. I can't read either. Well, I'm sure someone will tell us. You notice some familiar smells drift on the wind as a gust blows through the town past you. So it says, tobacco smoke, whiskey, stewing meat from somewhere. It reminded you of the camp. Walking more into the town, you get a better look at the buildings that were just dots up on the cliff. There was a saloon, at least, seemingly one of the older buildings in the town. As well as what you guessed was a sheriff's building, although the sign outside looked to be busted up. Everything else you could see from up here seemed to be houses and whatnot. Leftovers clearly made by miners, not built to be sturdy or last long, but had been fixed up to be livable for folks. Clearly, the people here like this place. And if they get a whiff of why you're both here, alright, partner. I say if we get given any evil eyes, we hightail out of here. Ain't worth getting shot in a place like this. Sure thing, we got each other's backs, remember? You nod at him. We best get talking to people, daylight's burning. Oh, here comes someone now. Sure enough, you see a sharp figure approaching you from the sheriff's office. Ooh, is it the sheriff? You hear the pound of cane on the dirt as they limp towards you with a vigor in their step. When they get... Ooh... I don't know what you are, but I like you. I don't know what... Oh, I should probably save, huh? Oh, cool. Okay. How do I get out of this now? Okay. When they get closer in the haze of the desert heat obscures them less, you see a smartly dressed old lizard standing before you both. Cane in one hand and a metal flask in the other. Hi, fellas. I'm Sheriff. Welcome to Clemency? Pleasure to meet you, Sheriff. He gave the lizard an expectant look, waiting for a name. My name is Sheriff. Just Sheriff. That's all you need. And what do you call yourselves? My name's Joseph, and my associate here is... He gestures towards you and turns to look at you, subtle panic rushing across his eye. He's so cute. You realize that he just realized you never gave your name. What is your name? Oh, I got you. My name is Nick. Sorry. Okay. What's your name, Nick? Oh, wait. Should I name myself Nick? Okay, I'm gonna change it. We're gonna do the... I don't want to say the masculine spelling. That sounds fucked up. But, I'm gonna put what is most commonly spelled... How it's most commonly spelled for guys. Considering mine is just N-I-K. So we'll just do Nick normally. I'm Nick. Pleasure to meet you. You said this while looking at Joseph, resisting the urge to wink at him before looking back to Sheriff. So what brings you two to our fine town? We're just riding through. Needed a rest stop. There a problem with that? Joseph nudges you with his elbow, but glancing at his eyes, you can tell he's saying, "Don't be so rude." Bro said, "Dude, calm the fuck down." No, not at all. I'm just the closest thing we have to a welcoming committee. And it's always nice to see some new faces all the way out here. How long will you be staying? The saloon has some rooms if you'd like to stay the night. That's an awful kind offer, Sheriff, but we'll be gone before nightfall. At least that's the idea. Meanwhile, maybe we'll like this town so much we'll stay. Joseph and Sheriff both chuckle, and the Sheriff sighs. Well, you boys, let me know if you need anything else. I'll be at home, most likely. Will do. Yep. With a tip of the hat, Sheriff turned and started walking back to the building at the end of the road. With the lizard out of earshot, Joseph turns to you. So, partner, what's our plan? You look around the town for a moment, surveying the handful of people walking about, talking to each other around their houses, taking in the warm wind blowing past you with a deep breath. We get talking to folks. And what? They just run their mouth about all the gold they found? No, but I reckon a town this size, if they've struck something there'll be a buzz about. We ask them about themselves, talk about the town. Someone will spill sooner or later. Alright then. Well, I got a pretty good peep at the place on the way down. We got a saloon just here, we got some sort of town hall over on the far side, and we got sheriff stations at the end of the road by the looks. Where to? Oh, okay. Let's see. We know the sheriff. Let's go where people get to talk shit. People are gonna talk shit at the saloon. Let's check out the saloon. I reckon if anyone knows anything about these rumors, it'll be in there. Alrighty then. I'm so excited. Also, I want to re-explain. I did the Nick thing because I feel like if this is a gay story and it's supposed to be a gay story, I don't want to feminize the name. I feel like I want to make sure it's kept as a gay story, not me playing. I don't want it to be me. You know? You'll get it? You'll get it. Okay. Walking through the doors of the saloon, you're hit with the very familiar smell of tobacco and alcohol hanging in the air. Oh, shit. Sorry, there's a tornado near my house. It's okay. Couple partners drink and talk quietly in the corner, not taking any notice of you two. You see a dozen or so tables, and looking up, there's a second floor with the room sheriff mentioned. Howdy there. Your attention is grabbed by an excitable and friendly voice coming from a short bird standing behind the bar, who is now grabbing a couple glasses. Okay, I want to try to do voices, but that might not work out very well, especially considering I'm not fully focused. But let's try. I gonna keep the country accent. Oh my god, you can't see the dude! Wait! Hang on. Look at the little dude! Let me make myself smaller. You see the little guy? Here, let's move me. We're gonna move me. Oh, well, we can't move me. I'm gonna move myself a little bit up. A little bit up. Oh, I don't want to cover the little guy. He's just a little guy. He's so cute. Well, y'all get to... Here. You see him. He's just a little guy. He's cute. Okay. Bartholomew, what can I get you, fellas? He started wiping down the glasses expectantly, glancing between you both as you walked a few steps from the doors to stand at the bar. I'll get a beer. Alright. And you? I'll, have what he's having. Yep, coming right up. He set the mugs down and disappeared through a door behind the bar into a back room. I don't have any money on me, Joseph. Don't worry about that. It is on me. He pat you on the back with a big wink a couple times, but withdrew his hand when he saw you wince a little. Oh, sorry. Was, that too harsh? No. You're fine. You hadn't went through pain. You just weren't used to someone touching you. Like that, at least. Friendly-like. Bartholomew reappeared with 2 glass bottles, tipping them into the mugs with satisfying glugs before taking a couple coins from Joseph. Thank you kindly. You both take a sip. Joseph seems to enjoy it, but you find it a bit more bitter. You try not to pull a face. Not like it? You smile weakly. Not my thing. Me neither, Nick. I don't like drinking neither. He winks at you and you feel your cheeks redden a bit. Okay. Sorry. You both keep drinking while the bartender busies himself behind the bar. I just love this art style. I love it. 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 The saloon is quiet. A piano sits gathering dust in the corner, seemingly untouched for many moons. Wind whistles through a gap in the saloon doors, carrying the sound of desert insects. Ew. Slow day, huh? You look up from your drink and see he's looking at the bartender, who doesn't seem to have taken any notice. He glances at you both and realizes rather sheepishly he was being talked to. Oh, beg your pardon? Slow day? Nah, this is about the usual. Gets a lot more lively in the evenings when the sun goes down. Everyone comes here to take a load off. So you know everyone here pretty well, then? Well, of course. Not exactly a big town. We're a pretty tight-knit lot here. Why is that? This is the mining town, right? These places usually explode with people. Good job, Nick. Get that info. Well, can't say I know much. He looks oddly unsettled by your question. He knows! He knows! How long are you here for? He perks up again from whatever you said that troubled him, the brightness returning to his voice. Oh, well, I'd say somewhere close to 8 years. That's a darn long time. Yeah, I suppose it is. What made you stay? Never mind staying. How'd you even find this place? I'd never heard of it till we stumbled past. Bartholomew's cheery smile dropped a little, morphing into something more wistful, like the face of someone looking at an old, now bittersweet photograph. You boys ask a lot of questions, don't you? You and Joseph look at each other for a moment, expecting the other to say something, but nothing comes out. I don't mind. I give it a fair shake. This town ain't the most exciting. It's nice to talk to someone, not to talk to some new ears that ain't tired of my squawking already. He gives a little half-hearted chuckle. Aw. Ooh, now you can see him. Okay, wait. Talk. Well, I found this place because I heard about there being gold. Like a lot of folks, I was fixing to get my fill. You and Joseph both lean in at the mention of gold. That's why we here, man. Well, shh. That's not why we're here. My fiance was running away from home, and I was going with him. We thought we'd go out west and make our fortune. Looking back, I get why so many called us foolish. I might have been one of them if it weren't the other way around. But we had our hearts set on it. We followed the robot wagon, and it was damn tough. Hellish, even. Thank our lucky stars we made it here to clemency on a wing and a prayer. That was when we really felt like we were foolish. When we got here talking about gold, we almost got ran out of town. I don't know the details, but there was a lot of trouble here when miners ran this place. No one's been digging for decades now, but word hadn't traveled far enough, it seems, to let us know at the time. At first, Sheriff told us to leave. Didn't want no more of our kind causing trouble. But when Sheriff saw how stuck we were, how we had nowhere else to go, how rough the journey had been on us, Sheriff's nothing if not kind. Could see we weren't troublemakers, just wanted a better life somewhere. Aww, Bartholomew. He shrugged, like there was nothing more to it. With the town's help, we gussied up this here saloon into something I could run, and the rest is history. I'm glad y'all found something here. Yeah, I can say that for sure. Clemency may be small, but it's something real special if you ask me. So there's no gold here. Nick! Bro, was it the whole point of this? Because we weren't telling them that we were here for gold? Joseph, hit him! Hit your boyfriend! Bartholomew leaned back against the shelf behind him, crossing his arms. Not as far as I know. Mine's all around here somewhere, but I've never seen them. This hasn't been a mining town for a long time, and folks here don't think of it as one. You'd do well to keep that in mind. Tapped the side of his beak as if to say, you catch my drift. He said, Pop. Even so, would be interested in the history of the town. Afraid that well runs dry here, but there's others who have been here far longer than I have. You can always talk to Sheriff if you haven't yet. Sheriff made this place what it is today. Want to know something? That's the lizards to talk to. Thank you, Bartholomew. No problem. It's my pleasure. Bartholomew stood up from his lean and stretched his back and arms a little. Slinging his cloth over his shoulder, he picked up a small clinking and rattling box before walking through to the back room. Daylight's burning. I think we best get going. Agreed. He stood at the bar and waited a moment while Joseph downed his beer, and then yours too. Hope you can hold that. Oh, please. How little you must think of me. Only a couple beers. You should have seen me at the Long Branch in Dodge. Drank the entire gang under the table. Can't help but smile at his cockiness, unsure whether to believe him. You briefly think back on the times the gang had gone to the bars. You were always told to stay outside. Don't wander off. A dog on a leash, wait. I don't want to say that. A dog on a leash waiting for master to come back. That's fucked up. Staring into lamp-lit streets and hearing the braying crowds all around you. Drunken strangers enjoying each other's company as much as their liquor. At first, they told you it was dangerous for you to stray too far. Then they started telling you to stay outside after you'd beaten the teeth out of a guy in an alley who you knew had been staring at you. Couldn't have you causing them needless trouble. Off so soon? Bartholomew re-emerged into the bar, looking expectantly. Well, don't be a stranger, strangers. You're welcome to come back later when the bar is more lively. My husband would love to meet you both. It's a gay town! It's a gay town! It's a whole gay town! Wait, boys, you're safe. The capital of his words caught you off guard, and you think you see Joseph stumble a little. Failing to get any words out, he tips his hat and you both leave the saloon, stepping into the dust and dry desert heat. It's a gay town! I'm calling it right now. This is a gay town. Town hall. There might be a meeting we can drop in on at the town hall. Seems worth looking into. Sounds good to me. Wouldn't mind sitting down a spell neither. My gosh. You both start walking to the outskirts of the town, weaving between the clumps of houses and down the dirt banks. You keep walking on a flat stretch, smooth and compacted from the frequent travels of people. Some town folks on the porches wave at you or give a little afternoon as you pass on by. Is it just me, or does it feel like everyone here is nicer than most? Well, maybe, but I ain't complaining. He gives an enthusiastic wave to a small kid shyly hanging around the corner outside their house under the shade. I could get used to folks being nice to me. They're not usually. I mean, don't stray far from the gang a lot of time. Maybe this is normal. Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't know either. You arrive at the large wooden building you'd been heading towards, noting how similar to a chapel it looked. Joseph walks up the small steps and opens the door with a rattle, holding it open for you. Thank you kindly. He follows you into the short, darkened hallway, closing the door behind him with another wooden rattle. The meeting hall is fairly large and simple, and bright. The wood walls are varnished and gleaming from the ample sunlight filtering through the arched windows. Rows of benches line the aisles, half facing away and half facing towards you on each side. Sitting on a nearby bench, turned away from you, is a hunched figure in black. Hearing you come in, the figure jumps to life, rising from the seat. Woo! They turn to you both, revealing themselves to be an elderly tortoise holding a small book in one hand. Do my eyes deceive me, or do I see new visitors to our town? He walks with the characteristic slowness of someone his age and nature down the aisle towards you both, but with a sprightly spring to his step. He tucks the book under one arm and extends both his hands to shake with Joseph's, and then you. Welcome to Clemency, and to our meeting hall. I'm Jacob. What might your names be? I'm Joseph, and this here's my associate, Nick. Pleasure to meet you. I assure you, the pleasure's all mine. It has been a good while since we had fresh faces around here. Now, you'll have to excuse me, but I have some business to attend to quickly. Feel free to sit and pray here until I return if you wish so. Before you can ask any more questions, he shuffles behind you both and out the door. Well, you and Joseph look at each other quizzically, sitting down at the nearest bench together. What did he say? Sit and pray here. That's what I heard, too. Is this a meeting hall for prayer? The meeting house of God? I don't get it. Can't help but smile at his musings as he looks around the room, looking into the rafters of the ceiling before turning back to you. You lock eyes with him, staring into the honey gold and brown streaked rings of his keen gaze. That's some fan fiction writing! He smiles at you coyly and looks away. Readjusting in his seat, you realize you were holding your breath. You sit up on the bench more too. The hard wood at your back reminds you of church days. All the fuss and protest against your mother about your Sunday best. You don't miss the frills and lace at all. You do miss singing hymns with her. She had a beautiful voice. I don't remember the last time I prayed. Don't cross my mind very much. Can't say you're missing anything. All the good it do to you. Not a believer? I don't want to blaspheme, but God's done a whole lot of jack squat to help me all my life. Don't really feel like praying to someone who doesn't care about me, or anyone like me for that matter. Which is why I wouldn't have pegged you for a devout man. Joseph laughs a bit, almost mocking the idea. No, I don't think anyone could have accused me of that. Not with some of the things I've done. But I still pray. Only the Lord knows if he's listening. But it helps remind me what's important to me. A lot of the time, I just pray for family. Hope they're doing fine. I hope they are too. There was a momentary silence between you two, like the subtle shift of coals in a long burning fire, now snuffed by the door rattling open again. You looked behind you, and sure enough, it was Jacob shuffling in. He grabbed a broom and briefly swept some dust he tracked in back outside before closing the door with another rattle. Forgive me for the delay. I hope I haven't kept you two from your business. Don't worry about yourself. We're doing just fine here. He leaned into and nudged you playfully. Good. So, how may I help you, gentlemen? The word catches you off guard a little, the way it trips off his tongue so easily. No bitterness or mockery. Joseph seems to stop for a moment before a little wry smile returns to his face. He adjusted in his seat to turn to Jacob, who had now taken a seat facing you on another bench. Well, we're just passing through. But I'm curious, you mentioned something about prayer? Oh, well, yes, of course. You must forgive me. I'm clearly far too used to the usuals of the town. His slow drawl of words is comforting, like being told a long-worn story by a grandparent. This is a meeting hall for friends, Quakers, if you will. We're a largely Quaker community here in Clemency. I've changed his voice like 10 times, I'm sorry. Quakers. Oh yeah, there's a lot of you folks over in Pennsylvania and the likes, ain't there? Yes, indeed, that's true. In fact, that is where I hail from. But I must admit, it has been a long time since I last visited. Sorry, I've got to say I'm at sea here. I've never even heard of Quakers. Can't say I'm much more enlightened myself. I don't know nothing about them. You both turned to Jacob expectantly. Oh wait, I think I did the wrong voice. I'm sorry, I read Joseph as Jacob. I'm dumb. Okay. Well, what's the simplest way I can explain our beliefs? He fell into a deep thought for a moment before staring into the middle distance, before coming back to life. I thought that too, though, because I read that in the voice, and then I was like, you are a Quaker, so how do you not know what they are? Okay, that's fine. Ignore me. We believe that there is that of God in everyone, that we all have an inner light that guides us. We don't perform sermons or sing hymns. Instead, we pray in silence together. There are no guidelines as to what you should do other than try to connect and listen to the light within yourself. We also very strongly believe in pacifism and do what you can to promote peace, denouncing all forms of violence and the degradation of our fellows who walk the earth with us. It's important to respect the light of God within everyone. That's certainly how I see it. That sounds nice, but, well, things don't often work that way, in my experience. Jacob smiled wisely, likely having heard the same sentiment many times before. Yes, there's certainly some that adhere to it more than others in town here, but it's always been an important tenet of our community. So, everyone in this town are Quakers? Well, yes, and no. Many of us are, but some of us more so just adhere to the same principles and ideals of nonviolence and so forth. Quakerism isn't enforced, but it bonds this community. Huh, interesting. What about old Sheriff? What about Sheriff? With the pacifism and whatnot, doesn't seem like it'd be easy. Oh, well, yes, I can see how you might suppose that. Sheriff cares about keeping the peace, but isn't solely responsible for it. We all are. It's what made this town so easy to keep going. Me and Sheriff see eye to eye on many things. So, you and Sheriff have been here a while then? Did you found the place or something? You'd have believed it by the tortoise's age, but it could definitely be as old as this town. No, you flatter me, for I am not quite that pioneering, but I have indeed been here for a long time. If you'd indulge me, I could tell you a little of my story. Please do. Jacob nodded again, drifting into thought for a moment before coming back with his words. Don't tell me a story! I don't know what your voice is doing! Okay. Okay. Oh. As I said, I'm from Pennsylvania. During the height of the gold rush, with so many heading west, many Quakers thought it would be a benefit to follow. I was much younger then, much more eager to get on the trail and spread the ideals of the Friends. I don't know why I read that wrong. Although, I can't say my love of Lavin has waned much. He gave a charming and hoarse little laugh at his own jibe. The trail was very hard, but I learned much from others and the caravans and towns and cities on the way. So much life and light. I arrived in this here town maybe more chipper than I had left, but it was not to be. His expression softened, drawing into himself, emotion failing to find its way onto his face. I loathe to speak ill of my fellow man, but when I arrived, this was a godless place. The miners had little care for each other. Be it out of greed or desperation, they were consumed by their need for gold, even those who had had their fill. The whole town was tense and unpredictable. Arguments, even violence, would erupt whenever something valuable turned up. A new vein, gold in the river. They'd do whatever they had to get what they wanted. The night I arrived, they told me of the so-called savages that used to reside there. Very little makes my blood boil, I tell you boys what. But the way the miners talked about those Indians, how happily they told me stories about the ways they drove them out, unspeakable things dare I not and would not want to repeat to anyone. I tried explaining the Friends' way, how even the savages, as they called them, had the light of God in them, how we were equally important in the presence of God's light, that the people we share this earth with were not our enemy. They had no care for my explanations. They had no care for the needs and lives of those other than themselves. It made me wonder how Quakers past had convinced people of all the evils of slavery, of importance of peace, building bonds instead of destroying one another. I lost hope. I thought maybe things had changed so much, perhaps this was people's limit. Tolerance of those who could get in their way was no longer an option. Perhaps I was just a failure, unable to convince a single soul and given a damn. Oh my god, I can't do that voice. Okay. The old tortoise looked forlorn, brow furrowed like he was reliving those moments so vividly that these were the same faces he wore. And along came Sheriff. Oh, Sheriff! I was a little worried when Sheriff first assigned to the town that I'd just have another person to fight with, someone with authority on the side of the miners. Instead, I found a kindred spirit, someone who actually listened to me and agreed with me on many things. Very quickly, we became firm friends. Eventually, Sheriff got sick of the miners, decided enough was enough, and shut down the town, forced the miners to move elsewhere. The entire time he'd been talking about Sheriff... Oh, sorry. What? The entire time he'd been talking about Sheriff, his face was lively and lit up, his hands moving with his words. It was a lot like how your pastor used to give sermons. Surely there was resistance to a whole mine town being packed up like that. Of course, but Sheriff did what's right. That's the way Sheriff's soul is set. I'd felt buried by the weight of the town's hate, their convictions like stone walls I could not scale. I'll be grateful to God until the day I die that Sheriff came here. I was given so much hope when I'd lost it all. And you've been here ever since? Jacob chuckled. Yes, we have. Only 100 of us stayed after the miners left. Oh, a handful. I was gonna say, small town. 100. Only a handful of us stayed after the miners left, and it was hard to know whether this town would still stand. But we felt sure we could find more people who cared as long as we worked together. More people like us. I think he's talking about gay people. I think Nick and Joseph are gonna live happily ever after. But I'm not sure. Let's keep reading. His words hung in the air, settling around you and Joseph as Jacob settled his gaze on you both. So, those miners are still around? A lot of mine towns died down because of the gold drying up, but if the miners just left, I guess there's still some here. Well, yes. Sorry, the voice drop killed me. Okay, wait. Well, yes, I suppose so. I can't say I've thought much about it in recent years. We don't encourage those looking for gold. I'm sure you understand. It's nothing but trouble. His warm gaze turned somewhat steely. He looked all mad. He's so cute when he's mad. You weren't sure how long it might go on for if Joseph didn't pipe up. Course. Jacob, we're just a curious bunch. Thank you for talking with us strangers so long. His stern eyes disappeared in an instant, and he humbly waved away Joseph's thanks. Nick, you're fucking it up for us. Oh no, the pleasure's all mine. It's been good to talk to New Year's. If you'll excuse me now, and let's get this place tidied up before today's meeting. Quaker meeting? Yes, indeed. You're both welcome to join us if you like. Thank you, Jacob, but I'm thinking we'll be off anyhow. You all stand, stretching and shaking off the stiffness from wings and tails and legs. Go well and keep the light close to you. You both nod and leave through the same rattling doors as before, catching one last glance at Jacob starting his chores before you close it. I can't read. It's okay. Joseph stands with you for a moment in the porch of the meeting hall, looking off into the town. What are you thinking? Well, we know now that these folks ain't gonna put up much of a fight. Maybe some of them, but... And there's definitely gold here. Somewhere. Joseph had no real emotion playing across his face, but he was standing much more still than you had seen him before. Like he was trying not to breathe. Come on, we got more people to talk to. He exhaled sharply, the feathers on his beak next to his nose holes fluttering. Nose holes? Don't talk about his nose holes. Yeah. You walked past the houses and people like before, but didn't feel like waving back. Y'all can wave! Country people wave! The dry desert air is warm in your lungs. Blazing afternoon sun bakes the ground beneath as you walk near the edge of town again. Your throat feels tight. Feet sore. There's a gentle pounding of blood in your head, accompanied by a familiar piercing ache. Everything seems hazier than it usually is. Thoughts are swimming. We get drugged! You're fine. Just keep walking. You almost bump into Joseph as he stops short, looking around again, searching for anything you might have missed. You look as well, but the sun seems too bright somehow. You look down at your feet to shield your eyes, staring at the tiny dunes of your footprints in the dust. Alright, so where to now? I think there's only one place of interest left. You heard what he said, but it didn't quite stick with you. Yeah, sure. Should we get going there then? Again, hearing, but nothing stays. Your thoughts feel like just caught fish wriggling from your hand. Alright then, let's go. Yeah, let's keep moving. What's wrong with Nick? Joseph starts walking away, and you follow. You try to follow. Your feet move, but they don't land where you want, and you stumble a little. Joseph looks around at you as you stand there, staring at your feet again. Hey, what's the matter, partner? Huh? I feel a little dizzy. You doing alright? Didn't say anything. He placed his hands on your shoulders and twisted you to face him, looking down into your face. Yeah, you're looking a little sick there. Let's go sit down a spell. What's wrong with Nick? Nick? Come on, man. He started walking with a hand on your shoulder, guiding you over to a ledge with a shallow drop you could both sit on and hang your legs over. You felt better sitting down, more stable. You hear the rustle of Joseph unclipping something from the back of his belt, seeing him pull a round canteen between the two of you. When's the last time you had a real drink? Must be mighty thirsty if you're feeling that dizzy. Of course, how could you have forgotten? You've been riding and walking all day, but you hadn't had a drop of anything since you set out. Although, you weren't sure what Joseph had brought with him. What's that look for? You think I got liquor? He chuckled a little and unscrewed the cap, letting you smell it a moment before taking a long gulp. Just water, see? Get it down before you collapse on me or something. He sheepishly took the canteen from him and gave a little wave in his direction as a cheers. You tilt it to your dry mouth and take deep gulps for a few seconds, licking water drops hanging on the edge of your lips after. Lips? Do I have lips? Bit warm for my liking. Can't beat cold water from a clean stream, but better than drying out like your mama's washing. You take another swig before handing it back to him. Thank you. Don't worry about it. Just pipe up next time. Almost hit the dirt just because you didn't say anything. Sorry, it was just, we have a job here. Didn't feel like I could waste time. Pshaw. Can't even make time to sit down and drink? You're unlike most of it. Who put a snake in your boots anyway? You gotta slow down a little. Maybe. I mean, what do you do to relax when you're off the job? Relax? Yeah, relax. Unwind, take a load off. I know what you mean. The question just caught you off guard a little. You weren't sure how to answer. You'd never given it much thought. What do you do to relax? The gang is always busy with something. Traveling, hiding out, making trouble. Not a lot of time to not do anything. I guess I play cards sometimes. Mostly just solitaire. Respectable. You win much? Nope. Ain't about winning anyway. Just helps pass the time. Yeah, I know what you mean. Me and the boys usually play some rounds of cards, sometimes betting. Although, some of them are some real sore losers. Sometimes it's easier to just let them win and avoid the issue. I bet one of them at poker 5 times in a row, and I swear the rest of the week he was giving me the eyes. Found my hat full of knife holes one morning, too. But I think it was just to scare me. At least I hope it was. He gave out a loud guffaw. The real and unrestrained kind that made you doubt a second if the canteen really was just water. He had a nice laugh, you thought. Someone actually enjoying themselves. Maybe it was just nice to hear a laugh that wasn't done at you. You a gambling man? A flutter in your chest at the end of the ribs. Not really. Never had much to gamble in the first place. Always seemed like a waste. Can't respect that restraint. Don't always have to be about money, mind you. When I was younger, me and Papa used to... He stopped for a moment, thinking and scratching his neck, his train of thought slowed by some forgotten memory. We used to play cards after dinner, and a lot of days when I came home, I'd bring pebbles from the river. I always liked how smooth and pretty they looked. All sorts of colors and shapes, all of them different. We kept them on the mantelpiece, and when we played cards, we bet with them. He always won, but it was too much fun for me to ever be mad. Think he did let me win, though, when I was betting big and was going to lose all of the rocks I really liked. He always knew which ones were my favorite and never wanted to see me cry. Can't think of any other reason he would have lost to me. Suppose I ought to thank him for teaching me. You weren't sure what to say, so you just gave him a soft smile. Family could be so complicated. You didn't want to say the wrong thing. Oh, you know what? He dug into the pocket and produced a tattered-looking packet in his hand that you recognized to be playing cards. What the fuck? Ventina? Vinget-un? You played that before? And we can bet with He twisted around himself, looking for anything you could use as a stand-in betting chips. He saw his eye settle on a small pile of rocks for a moment, but instead noticed a stray of feathers, barely holding on to the back of his hand. He plucked it and placed it between you both, twisting how he sat in to face you better. We can bet on this feather. We'll do a first to 5. You get it if you win. I keep it if I win. You swiveled yourself around to sit cross-legged and face him. Didn't know you were so desperate to gamble. You'd use your own body. Hardy hard. Just thought it'd be more interesting than rocks. Oh, well, I thought you were a rock lover, Mr. Rock Collector. Take it to the open roads, your own little rock circus. A regular Barnum. Joseph couldn't help but smile, even through his fake pouting at your teasing. Oh, J.H. Barnum has quite the same ring to it, frankly. J.H.? Yeah, as in Joseph Harrier. My initials. Oh, of course. So, you know how to play? God, no. Nope. Alright, rules are simple. I'm the dealer. I deal you 2 cards face up and deal myself 1 face up and 1 face down. Idea is to get as high as a number from your cards as you can without going over 21. If you go over 21, it's a bust. Same goes for me. But you need to get a higher number than me to win. And a draw is called a push. You can hit to get another card or stand to stick with what you have. You can hit as many times as you like as long as you're under 21. After you stand, I flip over my face down card and have to hit as long as it's under 17. If I go bust and my number is lower than yours, you win. If you get 21 exactly, then you don't hit or stand, and I get a push in that case if I also get 21. Cards are worth what the numbers say. Face cards like King, Queen, Jack, or 10. Where things get a little confusing is that the ace is worth either 1 or 11. Ace is worth 11 in a hand unless it would be a bust, in which case it's just a 1. Ace could still be an 11 if it would let you win. Gets a little muddled during games sometimes, but I ain't trying to cheat you, so don't worry about it too much. Right, let's play. Like I said, first to 5 wins. Bitch. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't catch none of that. I was focused on the voice. Okay. You've got the 3 of spades and the 8 of clubs, making your total 11. Dealer's face-up card is a jack of spades, making his total 10. Okay. So we need to get to 21. I highly doubt that he has something on the other side that's gonna get him exactly to 21. I think that's how we're playing it. I'm gonna hit. You draw the queen of clubs. Total is now 21. Hell yeah! Dealer's hand is the jack of spades. Queen of diamonds, making his total 20. Your total is higher. You win this round. Let's go. You've got the king of diamonds. Ooh, I cannot. I gotta sit. I gotta stand. You got the king of diamonds and the queen of hearts, making your total 20. Dealer's face-up card is the 7 of spades, making his total 7. I'm gonna stand. I can't. Dealer's hand is 7 of spades, king of hearts, making his total 17. I win again. Your total's higher. Okay. You got the 6 of spades and the 5 of clubs, making your total 11. Dealer's face-up card is the ace of hearts, making his total 11. Okay. We're gonna hit. You draw the 9 of spades. Total is now 20. Stand. Dealer's hand is the ace of hearts. 2 of spades, making his total 13. Dealer's hand. Oh, he drew again. 16. He drew again. 20. Push. No one wins. Go again. Ah, damn it. You got 7 of clubs and 6 of hearts, making your total 13. Okay. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm 8 away. I'm a gambler, man. Draw the 2 of hearts. Total is now 15. Okay. I'm a gambling man. Hit. We're 4 of diamonds. Total is now 19. Okay, stand. Dealer's hand is a 3 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, making his total 13. Okay. Dealer's hand is 3 of diamonds. Please go over 21. Making his 22. Bust. Hell yeah. Okay. We got this. You got the ace of spades and ace of diamonds, making your total 12. Dealer's face-up card is jack of diamonds, making his 10. We're going to hit. You draw the 4 of spades. Total is now 16. Okay, 16, 17, 18, 20. I'm bad at math. 5. I gotta hit. Ah! 16. Okay. Should I go again? Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna hit. I'm so scared. I'm gonna hit. Okay, we're done. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna stand. Stand. Dealer's hand is the jack of diamonds, jack of clubs, making his... I should have went higher. Okay, it's good. We're still 3 to 1. Got the 10 of clubs and the 5 of hearts, making your total 15. Dealer's face card up is 9. I'm gonna hit. Draw 5 of diamonds. Total is now 20. Stand. Dealer's hand is the 9 of clubs, 7 of hearts, making his 16. He's gonna draw again. 3 of hearts, making his total 19. You're winning! Your total's higher. Yes! Okay. You got the 4 of clubs and the 8 of spades, making your total 12. Dealer's face-up card is the 6 of clubs, making his 6. Okay. We're gonna hit. Damn it! Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I bust. It's okay. We got this. You got the 7 of diamonds and the 8 of hearts, making your total 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm 6 away. I'm gonna hit. Okay. Does that mean I won? We did 5? Is he gonna hit 21? Is he gonna hit 21? Is he gonna hit... he hit 26! Darn. Well, there you have it. Take your prize, sir. I got this feather! You took the feather in your hand, twisting the smooth quill back and forth a couple times between your thumb and forefinger. It was thin and tapered and the color of coffee. Thick, uneven stripes of cream. White ran all along it from the middle. Thank you, Joseph. Don't mention it. You pocket the feather carefully. We should probably get back to it. Long as you're happy to and can stand steady, then I'm ready to. You swung yourself up to your knees and stood up with a sprightly jump. All right, let's get a wiggle on. Yes, sir. Sheriff should know something, surely. Yes, sir. I doubt we're the only ones who've come looking. Yes, sir. I doubt we're the only ones who've come looky-looing before. Sorry. I gotta answer my mother. And Sheriff did say to come find him if we needed anything. You walked the same direction you saw Sheriff leave. Down toward the closest edge of town, through what might be considered the main street, were this town bigger. Sheriff's office is modest. One of the smaller buildings in town. Short, square, stone block with barred windows and a lopsided wooden door. As you get close to the squat building, Joseph slows down and raises an arm to your chest to slow you as well. Okay, partner, what's the plan here? You and I both know Sheriff is gonna be the most paranoid, owl-headed son of a gun in this burg. We can't go lost in there shooting our mouths off about just anything. Yeah, you're right. All we really need to know is if Sheriff is going to put up a fight. Somehow, I feel like they're not your usual lawmen. You look around thinking for a bit. 2 halves of a tattered sign swing in the wind on the chattering chains in front of the building. It seems it had said Sheriff once, and the edges of it had the remnants of bullet holes shattered in charred wood. I say we tell him what's really happening. Call Joseph's face incredulous at that moment would have been an understatement. He scoffed a little out of curiosity, rubbing his chin with a feathered hand and trying to think what you could mean. What are you saying? We admit while we're here? Acknowledge the coin? Sorta. I think we could tell Sheriff that there's some outlaws coming and we're worried, about the town. That's a dangerous play. Look, Sheriff is gonna have a good idea while we're snooping around if we don't have a simple, honest reason to throw off the scent. It's easier to lie when there's some truth to it. True? Joseph rubbed his chin again and sighed. I think so too, but still can't help to feel jumpy walking into the lion's den. You knew what he meant. For people like you, a sheriff's office was never where you wanted to wind up. Walking into the office together, Joseph ducks to clear the doorway. Ooh, he's tall. You find the inside to be much more well-kept than the outside, which has clearly seen some wear and tear in its time. Sunlight and dust in equal measures came in through the windows. Landing upon the desk is Sheriff, who was currently rapidly filling a piece of paper with a pencil in hand. After you close the door behind you, you both wait for a few seconds for Sheriff to notice you. Before you can politely knock on the closed door for attention, Sheriff raises a finger on a pencil held in hand to ask for a moment's more waiting. This was followed by a hasty scribbling onto the end of the piece of paper before the pencil was thrown onto the desk with little regard. 2 keen eyes landed on you and Joseph. Does he know? Howdy there, fellas. Thought I might be seeing you again. Howdy again, Sheriff. Now, what can I be helping you both with today? Well, Joseph turned to you, locking eyes. You saw the slight wild panic of someone caught in a trap and looking for a way out. Do you protect this town? Sheriff looked miffed, unsure how to respond, like someone had just asked if the sky was blue. As much as anyone else who lives here, yes. What does that mean? I thought you were a lawman. Sheriff regarded you with some annoyance, still seemingly puzzled over what you were asking. I think I see the confusion here. I'm not a lawman. In fact, I'd say I'm not a man at all. Or a woman. Sheriff kept looking at you both, trying to gauge your reactions. Whether you could be trusted, you guessed. My name is Sheriff. That's the moniker I've chosen, and I'd like you kindly to refer to me as so, or not at all. Oh, are they gender? Wait. They have no... Are they, like, non-binary? Gender fluid? Oh my god! Joseph tipped this. No, because it says his. Maybe just different pronouns? Joseph tipped his hat. Oh no, that's Joseph, sorry. Not a problem, Sheriff. Do you run this town then? That would also be a no. I'm a founder, you might say, but I don't solely run this town. You boys are asking some real strange questions if there's something I ought to know. Joseph had faltered, and now you did too. This isn't what you planned. You were just saying the first things that came to your mind, fixing on Sheriff with a calm pair of eyes, but a shakiness in the knees. Maybe you hoped Sheriff would say something that would change things, change what you were both there for. Before you could fall over, Joseph placed a hand on your shoulder, and you tensed before he gave it a light squeeze, stepping in. We heard from some other fellas on the trail that there were outlaws around, coming this way even. I see. Well, you boys shouldn't worry. We know how to care for ourselves in clemency. We don't get trouble around here often, but we make sure to run them off before anything starts. So, you've been here a while then? Yeah, ages. How'd you end up living here anyhow? What's the story? You said you're some kind of founder? Don't get it twisted now. I'm not really a founder. Well, hard to explain. I used to be a marshal. Got sent here somewhat 30 years ago already. And you liked it so much you stayed? Joseph gave a little bellow of a laugh, but Sheriff's is much more half-hearted. No, well, I wish I could say things back then were as good as they are now. Sheriff stood up, grabbing the cane by the desk that thumped softly as Sheriff started pacing a little through the small office, stretching stiff legs. You boys know this used to be a mining town, right? Of course. Well, I used to be the lawman of this mining town. Greenhorn out their first assignment, trying to keep the peace here. What a joke. The miners had it out for each other. There was nothing but bad blood and gold fever. I learned all too well during that time what it looks like. Gold fever in the eyes. And what people will do to satisfy it. That town was a constant powder keg, and I was only one marshal. Felt like there was nothing I could do. I felt like I needed to do more. I needed to do something to calm the place. I asked the marshals who sent me. They don't have a hoot. Oh, they don't give a hoot. If anything, they tell me to keep hands off. Let them figure it out themselves. Shoot them if they step out of line. That never sat right with me. There's something you should know about me, about how I conduct my business and take care of this town. It's that I care about justice. Real justice. Not just justice others suck up to, claim to care about. I learned very quickly that the law is not about real justice. Sheriff punctuated those words, said with such fire, with bangs of the cane on the floor. The law of the marshals was not and is not the justice I recognize. It's why I took on the name Sheriff. I wanted the name for myself. They didn't deserve it. Strange, I know. Thank the Lord, much good he's done me that I've met at least one like mine in this town. Ooh, I love the art. Let's just appreciate. Just appreciate. Like, this is so cool. I love it. Sometime in the winter, we had a caravan arrive in town. People who had been traveling long across the trail needed somewhere to stay for a spell. Had some to sell as well, furs and such, anything to help get by. Friendlier folks. I enjoyed their company. Spent a night drinking with them around their wagons. The miners didn't take kindly to them. Didn't trust them. That was a week I'll never forget. Constant accusations of stealing and flare-ups, shouting matches almost ended in drawing irons. The miners were so darn jumpy and owl-headed about the slightest things. 3 days later, a miner turned up dead, stabbed in his sleep. The miners all accused one of the traders of doing it, a Mexican fella, claimed it was his knife that did the deed. I had to arrest him. Held him in this cell here. A tap of the somewhat rusted metal bars with the cane rang into the room. The traders all came to tell me that I was wrong, that he'd never do something of the sort. They helped push me in the right direction. I had already had some suspicion about the miners' claims. A lot of accusations have been flying around about the Mexicans and Indians traveling in the caravans. I did a little investigating and found the miner had been killed by one of his friends. Another feud about gold. Some stolen or missing, and his so-called friend killed him for it. The miners wouldn't believe it, insisted the man in the cell was guilty. I wonder if maybe they just couldn't see what I could. See things through my eyes. It felt like a mockery of justice, of everything I cared about. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Early in the next morning, I asked the traders to leave and take their friend with them. Good! Good job, Sheriff. Sheriff noticed how intently you're both listening. Watery eyes flickering between you both. Anyway, that's a lot of blabbing from me already. Long story short, I kicked the miners out for the better. You make it sound like it was real easy. How'd you get that many miners to just abandon gold? I did what I had to, and I have no regrets or weight on my soul for it. Really, getting them out, that was the easy part, I suppose. We moved and rebuilt some of the town, further from the mines. We all wanted a fresh start. The years since have been hard, very hard. I don't have this stick because I've been sitting on my jollies and gazing at the sunsets. This town may be small, but it's a lot of work to keep going. Sheriff turned and went to sit at the desk again, the chair creaking beneath old bones. Don't take my griping to think I'm not thankful for this place, though. I've done a lot for it, but it's done just as much, more even, in return. How'd you mean? I can't say I ever really had somewhere I lived do much for me. Sheriff sighed softly, looking out the windows into town, a clear view of the cobbled-together houses cascading down the shallow hillside. Clemency has given me somewhere to live. I had many hopes when I chose to stay in this town to try to make something of it. I've worked hard to earn the respect of those who live here as a person, not as an authority. People here don't see me as an oddity. They don't fear me. They don't mock or interrogate others for how they live. This ain't just a community. It's a family. We're all far from our homes, from the people who made us, but here we can make ourselves what we want to be. A town of runaways who don't gotta keep running anymore. They're gonna find a home here. Sheriff stared out the window for a few more moments. The sun was a bright golden shine crossing wistful eyes. Turning back to you, Sheriff pulled back into the desk and got comfortable once more. Anyway, that's enough sat for me. Those outlaws all you wanted to talk about? Yeah, I think so. You wish you had more questions to ask, more to say, more to hear about. But no other words except your ma, except for thank you. Don't mention it. And thank you, too, for the tip-off. I'll keep those old peepers peeled. Yeah, thank you for talking, Sheriff. We'll be on our way now. But I did have one more question for you. You still with those Martians? In contact with them? I quit the day I rebelled against the miners. Never heard from them again. Joseph nodded, tipping his hat, and the sheriff tipping in turn. You stepped out the station into the blinding sun together. Okay. Walking back to the edge of town on the other side from the sign you now read Clemency. You both sit on the edge of a little hillside slope, kicking dust up on yourselves as you settle on the rocky crevices. I think that's all the useful places of interest here, unless we want to go knocking on folks' doors asking for gold. I think we've disturbed this long enough for a day. Your resting hand becomes restless as it brushes against some dry desert grass, entwining it between your fingers, slowly pulling it from its roots. So, what did we actually figure out? Everyone here is kind and mostly defenseless? I think pacifist is the word. You tug more grass up into your hand. They can maybe fight off some bandits, but no officers are going to come help, and they ain't going to do much against the whole gang. There is gold here, somewhere, in some forgotten mine no one's seen for decades. Well, it's got to be around here. This is a mining town, for Pete's sake. How far could it be? You shrug. Sheriff said the town was moved. Mines could be anywhere now. Maybe it really was just rumors. Maybe there's not really anything to find here. I think you know as well as I do that these folks are angsty. Friendly as well, but gold gets their hackles up. Someone has to know where the mines are. You knew he was right. You knew how to read people well enough. Joseph stood up, gazing across the landscape of the town and beyond, searching toward the horizon. Gonna use those special eyes of yours, bird brain? More use than you chasing your tail, mutt. He looked at you for a moment with a smirk, and you smoked back. You rolled the grass in your hand between your fingers, squashing the reeds of it together, dropping seeds in the sand. I can't see nothing. Goddamn suns in my eyes ain't helping either. I don't know if Bartholomew would help out. He was maybe the most friendly one of the bunch. Sheriff didn't even talk about the gold. Because Sheriff knows how to keep the town safe. You look up as Joseph, his puzzled face squinting in the sun looking down at you. Looking back out into the desert, the sun sits between two rocky outcroppings in the distance, a light bulb plucked from the sky by unmoving fingers. It'll start getting dark soon. Sheriff knows where the mines are. Bartholomew said he never saw them, and Jacob was never a miner. He had no reason to go to the mines. What, so we never saw them? That don't make sense. I'm not saying that. I'm saying even if he did see them back then, he wouldn't remember where they were now. Sheriff still knows where they are because they're at the biggest danger to the town. Anyway, their sheriff even checks up on them every so often to make sure it's undisturbed. Huh. I guess that checks out. We don't have the time for a stakeout, though. You balled your hand into a fist, the grass yielding and turning to dust. We don't need to know where they are anyway. All we gotta know, we got all we need. Knowing where the mines are would just be a penny in the hat. We should think about our next move. You ignored the tiny knot in your stomach as you thought about what to do next. You should just leave, but there's nothing else to do here. We should just think about resting. Getting dark soon. I think we could stay in the saloon. Sheriff did offer. You sure you want to stay here for now? Seems like the least we can do before we leave. Unless camping outside has some mighty appeal to you. Joseph flashed a wry smile. All right, let's go have a look first. No point bringing the horses down if I can't afford the rooms. Okay. I'm gonna make a guess that this is gonna be the one-bed love story. This is gonna be a one-bed fanfiction. Standing up, you feel the dust fly between your fingers with the winds blowing east, and follow Joseph a few paces behind. And they were roommates. You walk to the saloon again, looking forward to have somewhere to rest. You don't remember the last time you actually stayed in a room somewhere. It was always a tent or just in your bedroll, lying beneath the stars. You see the sheriff and Bartholomew standing on the porch of the saloon, talking intently, but can't pick up any clear words on the wind. Sheriff notices you both as you approach, patting Bartholomew on the back as he takes his leave back inside. Sheriff leaves the shade of the saloon's overhang, walking with purpose towards you both. The blue of the sky was starting to fade into oranges, pinks on the edges of the spars, and tiny clouds overhead. You both slow to a stop as Sheriff approaches you quickly. The face approaching you was different from before. And you see Joseph's face fall a little. Oh no. Sheriff came to a stop in front of you both, twisting his cane in the dirt a little. The old and frail figure standing in front of you was shaking a tad. You could hear slow and deliberate breath from the chest. The usual confidence and bluster off of Joseph dissipated under this new glare of Sheriff. The new and sharp eyes unlike those you'd seen when you arrived. There was a tiredness in them, a fierce tiredness, beneath which was a wild look you'd only seen in the eyes of the newly grieving. Gripping the cane, scaled knuckles turning white, Sheriff spoke in a low and calm voice. Yeah, I should have known. No! Are we caught? Oh no! Fuck. Thought maybe I was wrong this time. Y'all seem so, I don't know, like you should be here. Even so, I knew there was something off with what you were asking. Is everything alright, Sheriff? We were just gonna see if we could stay at the saloon. Sheriff slammed the cane into the dirt with such force you feared it might crack the earth beneath. You know damn well things are not alright. I had a little chat with my friends around town talking about the newcomers, what they've been asking about. Just passing through town, give me a break. I should have known it was too good to be true. I know when I see gold fever in them eyes. We're not here to cause trouble, Sheriff. We'll be on our way tomorrow morning. Really now. Well. Sheriff reached a free hand behind him, pulled an old revolver to point at you. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it once. I made a promise to protect this town and the people who live here. That I would do what was right by them. So both of you gonna turn tail and leave right now, and you never come back. And if I ever see either of you heading this way again, I will shoot you dead before nary fur or feather crosses that town line. You stood still next to Joseph, a small fear of walking taking a hold as you feel like the wind might knock you off your feet. Understood, Sheriff. Joseph started walking away, not stopping for you even as you stood there a moment longer, just to say one word. Sorry. You knew that didn't make up for it, but it was all you could muster from your tight throat. You turned quickly and walked away after Joseph with your head down, staring at your feet as they rhythmically sped one after another through the dust tracks of a town you couldn't come back to. Wow. The climb back out of the valley was quiet. The wind was the only noise to reach your ears. No words coming to pass between you and Joseph. Okay. I think since Dude, I'm gonna cry. No, okay. So since we're at the end, we just got kicked out of town. I'll probably end the first episode here. I'm so upset. How did we get caught? We hurt Sheriff. How did we hurt Sheriff? Oh my gosh. We're just two little gay boys looking for somewhere to go. Okay. Okay. I am gonna keep recording this. I think it's 6 hours long, so I'm gonna stop the first episode here, and I'm gonna keep going, and hopefully everything goes well. Dang. Okay, y'all comment and let me know if you want to see the rest of this series, because either way, I'm playing it by myself or with y'all. It's happening either way. But I hope y'all all enjoyed this first episode. That was so cool. I love this art style so much. That was awesome. Okay, I will see y'all in the next video. Make sure you like and comment. Let me subscribe. Let me know that y'all want to see this again. It's gonna be my first little series, so I'm excited. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.